All right, this episode is titled Two-Face Part 1. Came out on November 7th, 1992. Directed by Kevin Altieri, written by Alan Burnett and Randy Rogel. Featuring Kevin Conroy as Batman Bruce Wayne, Bob Hastings as Commissioner Gordon, Richard Mole as Harvey Dent and Two-Face, Murphy Cross as Grace Lamont, Marie Devon as Summer Gleason, Robert Doquy as the Doctor, Matt Landers as Frankie, Diane Michelle as Candace, Linda Gary as Dr. Nora Crest, Marcelo Tubert as Carlos, and John Vernon as Rupert Thorne. Some creds for you, bud. Writer Alan Burnett is one of the main story editors of Batman the Animated Series and replaced Sean Catherine Derrick, who left the show due to creative differences. We talked about this before. She was kind of always trying to put a message into the episodes and it was kind of straying away. Mm-hmm. And after she was fighting to keep the backstories of Bullock and Montoya and POV, and she didn't get it, she left the show, and Alan Burnett came in and took her place. Also, I found out she wanted to put a recycling trash bin in the Batcave. That was another thing that she wanted to do. Can you imagine? Batman leaving and be like, Alfred, always remember to recycle.
That's not what the show's about.
No, exactly. So Alan Burnett, he wrote the screenplay for Batman Mask of the Phantasm. He also wrote Batman Superman World's Finest, the movie, Batman Mystery of the Batwoman, as well as 11 episodes of Batman the Animated Series. Some of those other credits also include Super Friends, DuckTales, Superman the Animated Series, Freakazoid, Batman Beyond, Batman Gotham Knight, Green Lantern First Flight, and loads more DC animated movies. So he's a big-time DC fan and has written loads for them. The other writer of this episode, writer Randy Rogel, wrote Batman Sub-Zero, the movie, as well as 9 episodes of Batman the Animated Series. Some of his other credits include writing for Mighty Max, Sonic the Hedgehog, Animaniacs, and the Zeta Project. We've mentioned this before, but in case you didn't listen to that episode, Richard Mole is Harvey Dent and Two-Face, as well as the voice of the Bat Computer, Thomas Wayne in Nothing to Fear, Hardak, the evil computer that we'll get to later, and loads more additional voices in this show. He's also the Scorpion in Spider-Man the Animated Series, and the evil villain Dementor, Turbo Man's main villain in Jingle All the Way.
Nice.
Ta-ta, Turbo Man! Robert Doquy is the Doctor in this episode, but he's mostly known for playing Sergeant Reed in all the RoboCop movies. Do you know the guy that kind of works at the desk?
Yeah.
That's the voice of the Doctor. Matt Landers, who plays Frankie, is also known for playing Fred in the movie Commando, Captain Mitchell in Die Hard, plus additional voices in Superman the Animated Series and Batman Beyond. Diane Michelle, who plays Candace, is also known for voicing the character Mira in the Mass Effect games. Did you ever play those?
No, I never played them.
But you know of them, right?
I definitely know of them, yeah.
Yeah. Linda Gary, does that name sound familiar to you, bud?
It does, yes.
Linda Gary, we've heard her voice many times before on our other podcast, Spider-Man the Animated Series podcast, available wherever you listen to your podcasts. Linda Gary, who voices Harvey Dent's therapist, Dr. Nora Crest, is a recognizable name for us because she also plays Aunt May in Spider-Man the Animated Series.
I thought her performance in this episode was very good, very grounded and real.
Yeah, she was excellent, right? And I felt like she gave a really good, believable exposition to why Harvey has this dark side to him. Mm-hmm. And where it wasn't like, I'm explaining this for plot. It was just like, that's what she would say to him to help him, cope with all of this. I thought that was really good. And finally, John Vernon as Rupert Thorne is also known for playing the Mayor in Dirty Harry, Dean Vernon in Animal House, Dr. Stone in Airplane 2, the voice of General Ross in the Incredible Hulk animated series, plus he plays Doctor Strange in Spider-Man the Animated Series. Rupert Thorne is Doctor Strange. I thought that was fun.
Great speaking voice.
Yeah, I love Rupert Thorne a lot. And this is the first time we've seen him, in this show. This was the first episode. So fun facts from my utility belt. The writers felt that this was the first episode where everything gelled and it set the tone for the rest of the series. Do you agree with that?
I 100% agree with that. This was a next level episode. Like, we've been seeing a lot of silly cartoon action for the past couple of episodes, which, don't get me wrong, I very much enjoy because it's a good laugh. But when I went to watch this one, I told my wife, now sit down and watch this because it's very, very good.
And if you don't like it, Big Bad Will's coming out.
Yeah, there was the only cartoony part of this episode was the beginning with the way some of the thugs spoke.
Yes.
When they were pointing the guy on the shoulder damn, the Batman's right behind us, oh no.
I know.
But that opening scene was pure Dark Knight Returns energy, wasn't it?
It was, or even Batman Year One with the standoff outside and him sneaking around.
a little blend of both. But those, like, anytime Batman's fighting thugs in an abandoned building, I'm like, that's Dark Knight Returns. Like,
Yes.
that's what that is.
Yes.
But yeah, it's the tone wise, it's great. It's not like my wife's watching, like, man, some of this stuff would not fly today for like a kid's cartoon. I was like, nope, not at all, because there's some adult heavy content in this.
Like what?
Just like, you've clearly got like a mafioso who's running a crime ring. You've got, someone dealing with mental issues that would never happen in a kid's cartoon.
No,
nowadays.
yeah, you're right.
And there was a few other things that happened. I can't remember what.
Well, and Candace as well, when they were all fighting, she's like, wild.
I kind of liked that, though.
It was very like film noir-y. What did you think of Candace? Because I have my kind of idea what they were going.
Just the epitome of a femme fatale.
Femme fatale, but also a bit Batman 66, like, like female villain of the week or female henchwoman. You know what I mean? Like, she had that kind of vibe to her.
But I don't think that's the case, because she plays an important part in Thorne's world. Like, someone like her can blend in at an office and overhear what Harvey's talking about.
Good point. Yeah, it's a very good
someone
point.
like her can get way more information out of other people than others because of the way she is and the way she looks. And I really liked her character. She just seemed like a pure evil bastard, right? Like, she's like, I work for fucking Rupert Thorne and I fucking love it. Like that, and it's like, I don't know, I found
that's very femme fatale, you're right.
Yeah, I found her character very charming. And yeah, Rupert Thorne, that voice, I just want to say, like, Sydney. I don't know why. It's just like a.
But yeah, it's kind of like that. Yeah, you're right. It's that gangster tone. I love it. So some more fun facts. Harvey Dent was originally supposed to be featured more in the show before his inevitable change into Two-Face, but when producers saw Alan Burnett's story, they fast-tracked it as they loved it so much. So that's interesting. We would have maybe got more Harvey Dent in episodes and building on his and Bruce's friendship before his fall. But I was fine with what we've got so far.
Me too. Yeah, I was absolutely fine with that. And I just loved that. I didn't remember how much this show made it that he was pretty much Two-Face before he became Two-Face. Two-Face was like the event of the explosion is what tipped him completely over the edge. But
yeah,
I did not remember at all that he had a struggling of like inner personalities beforehand. Like, I think it's crazy to me.
Yeah, I love that, because obviously that's not in the comics, and I've always considered that canon more than him just like being a DA that had some acid chucked on him and suddenly he goes crazy. I like him having that internal struggle, which makes sense for him then to become a villain in the end.
It does. I do like the original as well, because it's literally like it's light side, dark side, which is very good. Like, like you've got the DA and he's all for like the justice and trying to make everything better, and then you've got like, well, I've been fucked and wrecked, and now I'm just going to do what all the fucking criminals do and get away with. Like, it's the epitome of like someone going through grief and like putting their finger up saying fuck the world. I totally understand where that side of Two-Face is coming from.
Sure.
But like you said, this having the split personalities in play is really interesting, and it is better than the White Knight, Dark Knight. And also, it comes into play much later on in the series when he becomes the judge character. And the idea that there's the idea that there could be more than just two personalities is very interesting, because there only was another one for protection, and since he got burnt on one side, it's just saying like, oh, well, you assume it's two. But since he already had a condition before he became Two-Face, it leaves the door wide open where there could be 7 different versions.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, that's basically the
one's just like a puppet on his hand with like eyes. He's like, yeah, it's me, Four-Finger Face.
What's the problem today, Four-Finger Face?
Hey, I keep jerking off Two-Face. Yeah. You should have him come all over my mouth. Yeah.
You should see the other half of his dick.
Yeah, well, I thought we established he had 2 penises last time. One burnt, one regular.
Oh, yeah! So according to the writers, the scene where Dent first sees his new appearance in the hospital was intended to be similar to the live-action film Batman 1989, when gangster Jack Napier first sees his appearance as the Joker.
He says mirror and everything. He
does.
And he even says, like, what's the doctor say? He says like in a
Now
direct
there's
line.
going to be some scarring or something
Yeah.
like that, but yeah, I've arranged surgery. Okay, can I just say that is the worst doctor in Gotham. If you are prepped for surgery and you have a hideous half face, don't be like, so we've got your surgery scheduled for tomorrow, but want to see how fucked up you look before we do it? Like, what an idiot! Why would you do that?
Oh, how good is the matte painting of Two-Face as they're removing the
Well, as them removing the
bandages?
bandages. So I was going to ask you, what do you think of the art in this episode? Because I thought it was next level.
Oh, absolute next level. It felt so noir. Just the way everyone's suits and like shirts were drawn were
Yes.
really good, and just like I don't know, the whole vibe of this episode is just really well done. Especially when there's even a scene when after Harvey Dent like has a speech and he's like I'm gonna marry my fiance who came out of nowhere, even though I was dating Poison Ivy like 2 episodes ago.
He really wants a fiance, right? Like,
Yeah.
Did you just hire her on like fiance.com or something?
Maybe it's good for his political campaign, something like that.
Maybe, yeah.
But there's just a shot of Bruce Wayne leaning against the wall, and just like the way it looks I was like, that looks awesome. And it's
Yes.
like, not even that impressive.
Yeah, no, he's drinking like a little cup of coffee.
Yes.
Yeah, and he's just like, you're looking much better, Harvey. I
Yeah.
love that. So, yeah, speaking of his fiancée, Grace's name is a modification of Gilda from the comics, because his fiancée's name in Long Halloween was Gilda, so they just went with Grace instead, which is interesting.
Hey, Grace.
The blessing!
The blessing!
That's such a deep cut! For you National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation fans out there. Oh, God, that was amazing. That would be so... That's what Two-Face's voice sounds like. Grace! You're a blessing! So Two-Face, speaking of his voice, was originally supposed to have a Godfather-like voice instead of the raspy one that we got. You just did a Marlon Brando.
Well, it's me, the Big Bad Harvey. Well, I thought that the way that Harvey Dent looks in this was already based off of Al Pacino, isn't it?
Yes, that's true. It's also supposed to be a bit Dog Day Afternoon Al Pacino. In the scene where the psychiatric is trying to bring out Big Bad Harv, when the lightning strikes, Harvey's face briefly flashes to Two-Face. Did you notice that?
No.
Oh, buddy. So she's like, can I speak to Big Bad Harv? And the lightning strikes and you see Two-Face's face for like a split second.
Oh, really? I must have missed that.
Yeah, it's really cool. And in an issue of the Batman Adventures comic book, Harvey was on the verge of being cured when the Joker convinced him that Grace is cheating on him with Bruce. So his evil personality takes hold once again and kidnaps Grace, and Batman and Robin foil his plan and send him back to Arkham. Grace, meanwhile, realizes that Dent will never be cured and leaves him. So I think that's a really cool continuation because we don't see Grace after part 2. She's just gone.
Really?
So it's a really
Bruce
cool...
Timm draw and write a mini Two-Face comic where he got the surgery and he fixed up his face and he gets like back with Grace and like everything's fine, but in the end he like he pours the acid on his own face to turn.
Oh, I don't know, but
stuff.
if the facts that I found is if the last time we see Grace is when maybe that story came before the one I've just mentioned, so that's possible. But yeah, the last time we see Grace is. I love the Joker poisoning Two-Face's mind, being like, Bruce Wayne is sleeping with Grace, and he's just like, no, and has to kidnap her.
The very Dark Knight, doesn't it?
Yeah, but also, I wouldn't be surprised if Harvey thought that, because it's so fucked up of Bruce to be like, better marry her soon, Harvey, or I might steal her away from you. I'm like,
yeah.
Buddy, that's a fucked up thing to say to your friend.
Hey, I think that your wife's pretty fit, and I want to bang her. Some other guy's like, me too.
Let's have an orgy.
Or we're all gonna bang her at the same time.
Let's have an orgy in Wayne Manor. Let's do it.
Yeah. Orgy's on me, but fellas. Oh, everyone come back to Wayne Manor. I'll get my butler and he'll serve us some lobster dinner.
That'll put
an orgy. I'm in. Grace is like, I'm in.
That'll put a dent in her campaign.
Harvey Dent's just like his eyes twitching in the corner, like
Maybe that's what she has to call him in bed, Big Bad Harv.
Yeah, maybe. That's the only way he gets hard and come, bud.
Oh man. So continuing on, originally Harvey Dent would have been disfigured when Batman chases a thug into the middle of a stakeout he was supervising. Acid meant the Batman would hit Harvey, turning him into Two-Face. Two-Face, after going on a crime spree, plans to lure Batman into a trap to make him pay for his failure. Would you have liked that better, or do you like how he became Two-Face in this episode?
No, I prefer that in the episode because it's a bit Batman's fault in this, which I really
Yes, I didn't. I have that in my notes. I didn't notice that until this time around. Batman is solely responsible for creating Two-Face in this episode.
Yeah, but I mean, the guy would have shot and killed him, so he had to stop
True.
the shooting from happening. So he's not directly responsible, but he is still part of the turning. That's for sure.
Yeah. When Harvey Dent has his bandages removed after the accident in part 1, both of his arms are normal. Yet in part 2, his left arm is blue and scaly like his face. So that was a bit of an animation error there.
And also, when the lightning flashes and we see Two-Face for the first time, he has a white eyebrow, where the iconic Two-Face has a black eyebrow.
Yeah, you're right. Good catch. That's in the notes as well. When Thorne throws the newspaper in the fire, a few frames of animation are briefly seen that say, "Cut these frames." And I paused it, and it does. As the newspaper's burning, it just says, like, briefly, it flashes, "Cut these frames." So obviously that was for the animators, and they didn't do that. And finally, when Rupert Thorne is reading Harvey Dent's psychological profile, there are no words written on the newspaper that he's reading. So with Two-Face in this whole animated series, is this your definitive Two-Face, or is there one?
There's no other Two-Face at all.
Yes, I agree.
Hands down. Look, Tommy Lee Jones is a lot of fun because it's a bit nostalgic from our past, and he does have some great, like, remember it, like, lines that you could do.
Let's start this party with a bang.
Let's start this party with a bang is like, something I say all the time.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of something else that why?
I love that too. Yeah. Tommy Lee Jones just brings like the crazy Batman 66 Two-Face we never got to see, right? But
there's a way he does a laughable point. He's like, it's like I'm off.
I'm starting to think Tommy Lee Jones is your Two-Face with how much you're praising him right now.
No, he's just and like, but that flashback scene when you see like him as Harvey Dent is still so really good in that film.
Yes, yeah, but it's so brief though, right? Like, give me more of that. But okay, so we've got that dream sequence at the beginning with Harvey Dent, and I really like that. Immediately sets the tone for the whole episode, right? Like, this is a totally different episode than what you've seen so far. And what I did find quite funny, though, is Harvey woke up in such a major sweat. And then I noticed throughout the entire episode, every time he changed into Big Bad Harv, it was like he just ran a marathon type sweat. Like, that dude must stink. Like, think about how bad he must stink, like, out in public.
I hope he's not a guy who eats a lot of cold cuts, because that's going to be coming right through that suit.
They call me Stink Face.
Cold cut Harvey.
Harvey, no. Just holding your nose like, oh, stinks. So I love the police raid, as we've said. That was such a great scene, and might be my contender for Love That Batman, by the way.
Oh, easily. The Batman on the roof that turns around?
No, that's not mine. Is that yours?
Yeah.
Mine is...
what, when he just drops down?
Yes, I love that so much.
That's that segment done.
Yeah. Apparently no theme tune needed. Yeah, but just to say mine for the listeners is when they're like, they're moving in, and the guy loads the rocket. He's like, no one's getting in here alive. And then you just see Batman jump down behind him in the doorframe and disappear into the darkness. Fucking love that.
Yeah.
I think that's so cool. One of the criminals yells out to Gordon, "Pound tar, Gordon." And I was like, what does that mean?
My wife said that as well. Like, she said that out loud. I think it was instead of eat lead, right?
But pound tar just means like what? Bash your fist on the pavement. If I was Gordon, I'd be on the megaphone like, "I'm sorry, but I don't know what that means or what you want me to do."
Is that a euphemism for masturbation, son? I don't.
Is this part of the negotiation tactics? I don't know.
Is it like when you take a dip of chewing tobacco and you take a big pocket under your lip or something? I don't know. I don't speak your language. No cap, right?
No cap.
I am not a capitalist. No cap.
Hashtag pound tar. So yeah, I do like the line though where Harvey says to Gordon, like, he must have pressed the right button. And Gordon replies, "That's one heck of a button." I really like that, like seeing that build with him. So I laughed as well. The scene where Rupert Thorne is watching himself on the TV and his picture comes up, and we just heard Commissioner Gordon, so it's obvious the same guy, Bob Hastings, is doing the voice of his henchman. And he's like, "Hey, nice tie, boss." And I paused it and I'm like, he's wearing the same exact tie on TV that he is in person. He wears that outfit every day.
Do you think this guy, like, maybe like at Christmas, he really wanted this tie, or he bought him that tie in the Secret Santa?
Yes.
Rupert Thorne's been wearing a lot. He's like, "Hey, that's a nice tie you got there, boy. So, where'd you get that tie from? Was that the Secret Santa? Was that the game? Yeah. Hey, I got a lousy keychain, I wasn't as lucky as that beautiful tie you got. Give me that tie."
I love that Bruce holds a fundraiser for Harvey's election campaign at Wayne Manor. Like, Alfred worked really hard decorating that place. That place is decked out for that party. Mm-hmm. And there's something really cool about Bruce holding parties at Wayne Manor. It just feels so Batman 89 for one, but also just comic book. Like the whole facade that he's not Batman, he's Bruce Wayne, he's rich. But the fucking Batcave is right underneath their feet. And I just think that's so cool. I love that.
Yeah, any drunk person could just slip into the grandfather clock and be like, "Oh," slips into like Robin's tights. Like, they're like, "Oh no."
Alfred has to kill another one.
Just down there with a shotgun.
Because you didn't see Alfred in this at all. I was like, what, did you make him fucking sit in his bedroom whilst everyone enjoyed the party?
I drew you a bath of blood. What's cool is that it must be nice for Batman because Bruce Wayne believes in Harvey Dent, as does Batman. They both care for him. So
yes.
It's something that he's like, that's why I've always found the character interesting, because he's like both sides of Batman's duality. Some could say that he has a split personality as well.
Yeah.
They're both rooting for Harvey Dent, and I think that's really cool.
Yeah, because obviously we don't see that with any other character in his rogues gallery. Yeah, I like that. I thought it was super rude, though, that as Harvey was giving his speech on the Wayne Manor's balcony, Gilda just starts talking to Bruce super loud about Harvey. And, it's pretty fucked up because everyone can hear them. And Harvey's trying to give this big speech. And she's like, "Yeah, so Harvey's having a rough time." And he's like, "What's wrong with him, Gilda?" Or not Gilda, whatever, Grace. I just thought that was really funny.
Yeah.
So I also love seeing Bruce flirting with the girl in the hallway, like at Dent's re-election. That was just so nice to see that, he's still trying to be the ladies' man, and he's still trying to give that whole image that he's Bruce Wayne, billionaire, playboy, philanthropist. But he also ditches her the moment Harvey looks to be in trouble, which I liked a lot as well. That solidifies their friendship to me. Harvey's in trouble, bye. And she looks so disappointed as well.
Yeah, her reaction is great. I could have been a billionaire's wife, god damn it. That lady had an agenda, right?
Yes.
You can tell.
Yeah. Nice subtle line when Bruce says to Harvey, "You're in trouble, aren't you?" And Harvey says, "My friend, you don't know the half of it." And I was like, "Oh, you're gonna be half in a minute."
Well, yeah, that's true.
Rupert Thorne's men picking up Harvey in a pink car was really weird. Did you notice that Rupert Thorne's car is pink?
If you mention the color of the car, we'll end you.
Hey, nice car, boss. Yeah. Who got you that?
Yeah, I remember last year's Secret Santa, right? Where the budget was like 10 grand per person, right? Because we had that huge score, right? And yeah, I remember you bought me a pink car as a joke, but I drive it with pride. I love you. I'm in love with you.
You might say I'm tied to you.
Terrible but funny.
Thanks, I tried my best.
Give me that tie.
I did like seeing Batman telling that car, though, hopping across rooftops and cars and shooting the tracking device on it. That was a cool little Batman moment, because Batman's not really in this episode that much. It's mostly Bruce and obviously focused on Harvey, which is very different than what we're used to. What I thought was weird, though, is did you notice that Harvey gains super strength when he turns into Big Bad Harv?
Yeah.
He picks up Rupert Thorne, who must be pushing 300, and throws him like a baseball at his men. It's crazy.
He does. And he does the classic open hand walk thing that this show loves to do, where he's just like, "Someone's gonna get these hands." Harvey's hands.
Harvey, no. He's just pinching them.
Just a huge pinch on their sides. Just purple nurples their nipples. Big Bad Harvey, no!
That's what Big Bad Harv does.
Gotta give you a purple nipple. No!
Tickle attack from Big Bad Harv.
I'm gonna sneak up behind you. I'm gonna use Harvey's hands to tickle you.
You did a pretty good Two-Face. That was good.
Thank you.
Did you also notice that Batman does like a matador move with his cape during the fight? He's like, Toro! And he pulls his cape away and a goon just runs through the wall.
A bit ridiculous.
Yeah. And then, of course, we get the amazing delivery of Harvey. No. What do you think direction Kevin Conroy was given for that? Because like he puts on such a stellar performance, but it's such a weird delivery of that line.
Well, Harvey No is a silly line to say anyway, so it's hard to deliver it. I think it's my only direction would be like, imagine your best friend, the only like person, there's only three people you can trust: Alfred, Commissioner Gordon, and this guy. And this guy's been like your ride or die friend, that you've had forever. And imagine turning him over, and an action that you caused has now made him completely scarred and disfigured. Go.
Yeah, it's a good point. I would probably be like, if I did that to you, I'd be like, Wobbler. No.
You're like, oh, for fuck's
sake. just kill me, bud.
Okay, but it's like, did you knock over the lamp that caused this? He did it to himself.
That's exactly it. It's the lamp that caused the explosion. Oh, that's amazing.
Big Bad Willie's coming out.
That sounds
Your Big Bad Willie is coming out? No, it's me. It's my other personality.
It's 2023. You can't be calling it that anymore.
Yeah, you cannot be whipping out Big Bad Willie. Oh, God damn it!
Tickle attack.
I'm coming behind you for a tickle attack.
with my Big Bad Willie.
I'm gonna take your hands. I'm gonna put a Chinese finger trap, and I'm gonna pull. And you're not gonna be able to get out. Oh no! I'm stuck in a Chinese finger trap. Yeah. What other childhood things can people do that's really funny for Two-Face to do in like a fight?
I love that this is his MO now. What would be like, pull my finger?
Big Bad Harvey's gonna clear the room.
I sweat a lot too, so the smell it's really bad.
I eat nothing but cold cuts. just doing the burn and just like, what was the other purple nurple? Oh, he grabs River Thorn, he puts him over his shoulder, and he takes it to the toilet, and he's like, time for a swirly big flushes the toilet. He's pulling up people's underpants and putting it over their head. Atomic wedgie.
Love that he's just this high school bully.
Yeah, just doing classic childhood bullying.
Man, Two-Face is a real dick.
Yeah.
Is this your lunch money?
Is this your lunch? You just eat it from there. I don't really like it that much anyway.
I'm gonna eat it on my ugly side so you can watch it in my mouth.
Dripping out of his fucking mouth. Same chewing it.
And then he has the audacity to be like, your mom's sandwiches suck.
Yeah. They always suck. Tell Linda she could do a better job. Tell Linda I want a PB&J tomorrow.
Who's Linda?
It's his mom. His mom's name is Linda.
Oh, God.
He's got like a Letterman jacket, just says 2 on it.
He's the quarterback.
Yeah.
This half ugly, half good-looking guy. There could be a whole like teenage date movie where he's just like, she won't go to the dance with me. Comes down the stairs like, and they're like, kiss me. Na, 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 na. It's like this magical moment as he's like coming down the stairs to go to prom.
Where have you taken this?
She's all that. Duh.
Well, everyone's like, hey, why'd you take the guy with the half-burnt face to prom, huh?
Yeah, and it's like, because I love him, Tommy.
And he puts on a makeup, and the guy's like, whoa, Harvey, that's kind of pretty. That's Big Bad Harvey to you, big boy.
Purple's
nips. Get burped. Give me that forearm. Yeah.
Oh God, that's...
I remember those twisting of the forearm used to hurt so much to me. I hate it.
Yeah, those are good ones. What was it? Oh, well, the final one. Loogie. He spits into
Oh no! He's just dribbling from his like big lip, like
out the corner of his
he's
saggy
got
lip.
someone's pinned down. And he's like letting the saliva drip from his mouth to drip into the other guy's mouth.
It's blue as well.
I've been drinking a lot of cool blue Gatorade today. Gotta keep hydrated. It's pretty hot out there. As I'm sweating my ass off, I need to rehydrate. Gotta get my electrolytes back.
Oh my god, I'm crying.
I like Schoolyard Big Bad Harv.
Schoolyard Big Bad Harv is definitely his name. That's another one of his personalities. Oh god. Oh, so at the hospital, we're going back to this episode. At the hospital, the doctor explains that he can repair the damage to the physical scars on Harvey's face. And Bruce puts his hand on his chin and says, in his Batman voice, I'm more worried about the mental scars. And he says it out loud.
What?
Are you Batman?
Am I not? He looks down. He's like, oh, I'm wearing my classic mustard and brown.
I think he meant to say that in his head, but like he just said it out loud.
Just even Two-Face looks at him. Are you Batman, Bruce?
Alfred comes in with a shotgun.
2 shots for you, Dan.
Oh god!
No, always the fixer, Alfred.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
Didn't realize I was in my spicy browns.
Oh, buddy, I'm laughing so hard.
You are cracking up.
I'm laughing so hard at that.
You're now so it's anytime you laugh like that, you sound like the guy that's been poisoned by a Joker. It's like, oh no! And they come into the room.
Oh no! Oh, God.
2 shots for you, Harvey.
Just imagining Alfred coming in, just killing everyone that finds out Bruce is Batman is amazing. Oh god. Oh, okay. All right, pull it together. So, at the end of this episode, Harvey escapes the hospital, but not before seeing Grace, who faints at seeing his half face. Harvey says goodbye to his fiancée and jumps out the window. And that's the end of the episode. And I have one more question for you about this. So, is Harvey now running around a very rainy night in Gotham in just a hospital gown? Because that's what it was implied. Like with his half blue naked ass running around.
I wonder why they chose to make him blue, because his classic color in the books is like green
or red.
And then it's red, and then the movie later on did red, but this show was like, nah, blue. And blue to me is like, that's the look.
Yeah, I agree. I think maybe it's because his suit is black and white, and maybe blue worked better with that. I'm wondering, with the white hair and the blue face and the black and white kind of like, you know, a yin and yang that he's
maybe
got
they
going
thought
on.
that the red was too graphic for children.
Yes, yeah, because it could look like a, you know, like fleshy.
Because the blue, I guess blue makes it so it seems more alien, where you can get away with it more, I guess.
Yeah, you're probably right. And
green would, though, as well.
Yeah, but green probably looks weird with that black and white suit. That's probably why they didn't do it. Yeah, but I think it works. The color palette of
his
red lip.
It works, but I'm just saying
it works
it's
really
interesting that it came out of nowhere.
And this is the first time that he's ever had a black and white suit. He's always had like a, you know, a very red and orange looking like checkered suit in the comics. It was the first time they changed.
He looks the best in this.
Yeah, he does. Which we'll get to see him next episode fully, which will be great. So that is the next episode, Two-Face Part 2, as the DC Comics like to do now, Part 2. Or maybe I was thinking Two-Face, Too Furious. That could be the next next name in the next episode.
I don't know about that one. Come here, bring me those nips. Give me that forearm.